Good morning. This is the first of a series of videos on Erikson, stages of psychosocial development. I'm going to do 2 stages per video. So 1, 2, then 3, 4, then 5, 6, then 7, 8. And that will pretty much, just one little thing, but that'll pretty much take care of us for this particular section. So anyway, Erikson. First stage, trust versus mistrust. This is 0 to 18 months. And what we're going to go over is basically what happens positively and negatively in these stages. And I want you to think about, as we go through these, how this leads to, like, you're good in one, you're going to be better off in number 2, and so on, assuming that things go well. So think about the roles of parents, think about the roles of siblings, think about the roles of society, and so on and so on. So anyway, our first stage, trust versus mistrust, happens roughly between 0 and 18 months. And like we've already said in class, is that these kids they're not able to do much, so they rely more or less completely on adults or caregivers to take care of their needs. So a positive outcome here would be this person has a trust of the caregiver because they're consistent. It's not about being overly, oh, baby, affectionate and all that. It's about, not that you're not that, but it's consistent. And when, don't put your hands in the light socket, don't put your finger in the light socket as the kid gets older, change the diaper, feed them, and so on and so forth, which doesn't sound like much, but you build this base of trust, and that's the whole thing. And then the other thing is that kind of child is more able to break away, which seems a bit of a paradox, but if that kid, ventures out into the yard and he sees something, he will go over to look at it because he knows that mom or dad or both or whoever has his back, and he can go back and show them, and they will engage with him. Oh, look, it's a rock, yeah. And it's fascinating to the kid because it's the first time, but to the parent it's like, but you still, oh, tell me about that rock. What do you think about that? What do you think about that bug? What do you think about that flower? And so on and so forth. On the other hand, those who don't have this have either absent, if you will, mentally or physically, or inconsistent parents. I talked in class about the ignore, explode person, who you've hopefully not, but probably seen in a store or somewhere at some point. But here, this child does not learn to trust because there's not consistent, maybe smothering one minute and ignoring the next, and so on and so forth. And they end up fearing other people, and which makes it hard to form, and I know this is a weird word for this young a child, but hard to form relationships as they get older because they don't have that bond or any form of trust. They don't know what to do because it's not like it automatically just comes to you. Okay, so that's our first stage. The next stage, which happens from 18 months to 3 years, is called autonomy versus shame and doubt. And I'll move this closer at the end so you can see the actual notes. Hopefully it's clear enough and everything. But here, autonomy, 18 months to 3 years is when you hopefully potty train, and you learn self-control. Not just in that, but in things like wait your turn, wait for dessert until after dinner, wait till mommy's done talking, those kind of things. And that kid learns self-control, both physically and mentally, which is obviously going to do better once you do well for you, once you get in school, once you get in relationships, once you get in the workplace. I think traffic. I mean, how many times do you have to use self-control at some point? And then, of course, potty training is the big deal there, because it's this whole idea of, now I'm a big boy and I don't need to be changed. I can do it on my own, which is a big deal to kids. Hopefully not a big deal to you anymore. The negative part here, the kid doesn't potty train. He doesn't, or he's criticized for, like a mistake, an accident. Or why aren't you quicker with this? Or why aren't you more like your brother? Or why aren't you a good boy? Those kind of negative things. 'Cause again, the kid doesn't really know any better, but they'll feel shame and they'll feel like they've been disapproved, or people are disapproving of them. which, can lead to a couple things, which we're going to get to kind of in the next stages. But feeling disapproval for things that you can't really control is that's a tough one to come back from, obviously. So you hopefully see how this is starting to turn into, this kid's only 3, and if he's got both of these, it's he's already falling behind. And we'll see how this goes in the next couple stages. Okay, all right, see you.